And so if we're talking about what is the correct policy to have, so there is a discussion about reform in Congress that's gone nowhere, but the idea there was to take indentured servitude and double it. And that if you work here for 14 years, if you're undocumented, you could have a pathway to citizenship. Now the right wing said that's too lenient. I don't know if they want 3 times indentured servitude, I don't know. But my answer is, look, can we at least go back to indentured servitude? So for 7 years, they work and they pay their dues. Have they not done enough and shown enough to become U.S. citizens? That means they are adding to our country. They are not taking away from our country. So that is a proposal that I believe in and that I will fight for. And immigrants are net positive in almost every way imaginable, and also demagoguery on the issue of criminality. The reality is native-born Americans, unfortunately, commit crime at over twice the rate of undocumented immigrants. So if we're going to kick anyone out, it would be us. Well, not me, because I wasn't born here. But of course we're not going to do that either, because we all work together and we can win together. Now, in terms of wages, Tucker is absolutely right that wages have been stagnant. And they have been stagnant since...
Before he continues with the wages, again, here's the argument one more time. Oh, it's Americans that are committing all the crimes, the rapes, the murders, the burglaries, the assaults, all this stuff. And it's not the illegal aliens that are doing it. Listen, you can play around with statistics and you can get them to basically say or, manipulate them in a way that they favor you when you're talking. So putting statistics aside for right now, the only thing I want to say is this. If an American citizen is committing a crime, they were legal to be here. That's a whole different thing to talk about. We need, obviously, the laws are there to not do those things, but people will break the laws, and they do that all the time. But at least they were legally allowed to be here in this country. And then once they commit those acts of crime, once they commit those misdemeanors or felonies, and once they're caught and brought to justice, and they're sent to jail, whatever, they will serve their time for their crime. But the question I would like to ask Cenk is that if you have an illegal alien that crossed over here illegally and he commits a crime, we allowed him to come in here. The blood of what that person has done, the act that he's committed, the murder, the rape, the assault, whatever it is, the kidnapping, the brutality, whatever it is, the gangs, we've allowed that to happen when it never should have occurred in the first place. They never should have been allowed to be here to begin with. So for them to commit an act of a criminal act here in the United States, they were doing it because we allowed them to be here when they shouldn't have been over here in the first place. So don't give me this crap about statistics. I don't give a damn about the statistics. They shouldn't have been here in the first place to commit the act. That's the problem. That's where the government failed to protect its citizens.
This about 1978. Productivity has not. The American worker has been wonderfully productive. It has gone up by over 200% since that time. But if you're looking to see who took your wages, don't look down, look up. The guy, just last thought here, the guy who walked in and crossed the border without a penny to his name did not somehow rig the rules. No, the person who rigged the rules are the ones that are paying the politicians. Campaign contributions are unadulterated bribery. They're absolutely, positively bribery, and they are done to maintain power for the economic elite. And that is what's keeping your wages stagnant.
Well, I kind of, let me just say, I kind of agree with some of that. Unexpectedly, but I think you're right. I mean, I don't blame really immigrants for anything. As people, the policies are not formulated by them. The question is who benefits from our current system, which is clearly totally dysfunctional. If you have 20 million or 22 million, north of 20 million people without papers in your country, it's clearly not working. So the question is who's benefiting from that. And there's an entire political party that hopes to sort of have a new voter base on the basis of those people. And you have, that's true, as you know. And think anyone's hiding it, by the way. And if you're for that party, I mean, I guess you're for that. And then there are also, and I think you alluded to this, a lot of employers who are benefiting from that. But
so to clear this thing up, what Tucker is talking about is that there's two reasons why both political parties on this are completely guilty. And both political parties have the blood on their hands of U.S. citizens being killed by these illegal aliens that are coming across the border, obviously illegally. So that blood is on the hands of Congress, it's on the hands of the presidents, it's on the hands of administration, it's on the hands of the, it's on the hands of every part of government, obviously. Now, what Tucker here is saying is that the reasons for the parties wanting illegal aliens here are different. Well, obviously, the Democrats, they want illegal aliens here because guess what? They're hoping that eventually there will be some path to citizenship, and because they showed them all kinds of goodies and freebies and we'll give you everything that you want, and we're the ones that are fighting for you over the rights of United States citizens, even though you're illegals over here, they'll decide to vote Democrat. And the Republicans on their side is because of companies and corporations or whatever, they're basically saying, well, if illegal aliens are here, guess what? We can keep our costs down, our manufacturing costs down, our productive costs down, our wages we can, we don't have to pay as much or whatever. So it's in that regard, it will help us in terms of our productivity and economics. So those are the two camps. Anyways, let's continue with Tucker.
By the way, you're also right that a lot of immigrants are in fact exploited. I mean, we've created an entire serf class to serve the day-to-day needs of the rich. Like, that's just true. And by the way, if you want to see the most intense opponents of changing or fixing our immigration system, talk to like some of your rich people in my neighborhood. And it's like, well, who's going to walk the dogs while I'm at SoulCycle? Like, I'm serious. And they have we're doing that. And most people are not benefiting. Only a small number is benefiting. So, look, I would agree with a lot of what you said, or certainly the tenor of what you said. It's not their fault. But it does get to a core question, which is, do you, as a U.S. citizen, have the right to have any voice at all in who comes in? Because demographics is like one of the key questions. Who lives here? Again, not a racial question. It's a substantive factual question. And I don't think you'll find many people in this country who are opposed to immigration. We have more immigrants, aggregate, total immigrants than any country's ever had in peacetime, ever, okay? And you don't have riots in the streets. You don't have lunatics. Lots of other countries do. South Africa right now, killing Zimbabweans because they're mad about unchecked immigration. I get it. We don't have that. We like immigrants. The question is, are we allowed to make the decision? It's our country, and in that hour, I would include lots of naturalized immigrants, including you. We all have a right to decide. So to say it's anti-immigrant, look, I'm for dinner parties. I have lots of dinner parties. I love inviting 12 people over to my house and having dinner. If you decided who they were or said you're not allowed to decide who the 12 people are, that wouldn't be a dinner party, would it? It would be an invasion or something. It would be something I'm very much against. So the question is, where is the economic debate? I mean, what I appreciated about your response was and I disagree with your numbers, but at least you marshaled them. Like, what is the economic effect of this? I grew up in this state. When I grew up here, it was the richest out of 50. It had the best schools out of 50. It had the most vibrant middle class out of 50. It now has, it's 48th for schools. It has more poor people than any state. Its infrastructure is crumbling, and the middle class is living in Boise. So how did that happen? There are lots of reasons it happened, but the truth is, economics is not magic. Importing millions of poor people, every one of them a good person, I'm willing to assume, doesn't make you richer. So the rest of us have a right to have that conversation. That's all I'm saying. Don't shut it down with racist, please.
But Tucker, let me follow up on that.
So we're going to end this thing right here, right now. There's more on this thing. We'll do that in part 2. So look for that video as you peruse our video library or whatever. But just want to again say is that I think both of them are making their points. But again, where Tucker is coming from. Tucker is coming from the fact of, do we as U.S. citizens have a voice in who we allow to come into the country, and how many? How many at a time? And who? And for what reasons? Is it just unchecked? immigration legally separated. Legal immigration from illegal immigration. Legal aliens from illegal aliens. That's what he's saying. And the government has to be able to protect us. In many things, they were agreeing with a lot of things in terms of, corporations, in terms of, illegal aliens being exploited once they're over here. What's happening to wages and stagnation of wages of the workers here in the United States. How by bringing in illegal aliens, it's basically lowering those wages as well. Anytime you bring more of something, have more of something, its value goes down. Now, on the other side, Cenk is arguing from the thing of, again, virtue signaling, I think. From the point of, we're progressives. We have to be nice, the huddled masses, the Statue of Liberty. What are these people going to do? They're seeking asylum. They're doing this. They're doing that. Listen, you have to help yourself first. You help your own, in your family. If you can't help your family first, how do you help others? That's the whole question. So in this thing here, I would probably, if you were on the right and, more of a conservative, and on the right, you probably were saying Tucker made some great points. Obviously, if you're progressive, you're on the left, you're probably thinking Cenk made some points. All in all, I think it was probably a tie right over here. I think there were some points scored maybe here or there, but they were kind of minute. I think Tucker laid out a little better position in terms of what the government's job is and what American citizens should have some right of say-so of who comes and enters in the country, whereas Cenk was basically more, was out here basically sort of around the edges and the feel good, be good, virtue signaling type of thing, basically, in my opinion. Anyways, we appreciate you watching. This was just part one of the debates between Tucker Carlson and Cenk Uygur. Watch our other videos below. You've been watching the Dr. Nasir Shaikh Show. I've been your guest host. My name is Dr. Nasir. Please subscribe to our channel, like, share, and follow us. Hit that notification bell. I'll leave you with my final thought, which is, when you're right, you're right. And when you're left, you're wrong. We'll see you again next time, folks. Take care and stay safe.